Respected audience, we live in a world where relationships define the essence of our being. We are taught how to succeed in our careers, how to be strong in our struggles, but no one tells us how to nurture relationships, how to love and be loved, how to heal when things fall apart. The truth is, relationships are not just about love, they are about respect, growth, and acceptance. Yet so many of us hold on to relationships that break us, that make us question our worth. Why? Because we fear being alone, because we think we are not enough. But let me tell you this, you are enough. Love is not about losing yourself to make someone else feel complete. It is not about changing who you are just to be accepted. If someone truly loves you, they will never ask you to shrink to fit into their world. Instead, they will grow with you, celebrate you, and stand by you. Not just in your best moments, but in your weakest ones too. But relationships also require effort. We cannot expect love to bloom if we refuse to water it with care, patience, and understanding. Communication is not about winning arguments. It is about understanding perspectives. Forgiveness is not about forgetting pain. It is about choosing peace over resentment. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away from a relationship that no longer serves your soul. It takes courage to choose yourself, to set boundaries, to say, I deserve better because you do. So today I ask you, are you in relationships that empower you? Are you with people who uplift you, respect you, and cherish your presence? Are you giving the same love and respect that you wish to receive? Because love is not just about finding the right person. It is about becoming the right person too. Cherish the ones who truly see you. Love yourself enough to walk away from anything that dims your light. And most importantly, never settle for a love that requires you to lose yourself in order to keep it. We often think of relationships as a bond between two people, a connection built on love, trust, and shared experiences. But beneath every healthy and fulfilling relationship lies something far more fundamental: self-worth. The way we see ourselves, the value we place on our own existence, and the boundaries we set for how we should be treated all stem from our self-worth. Without it, relationships become fragile, unbalanced, and often painful. Self-worth is not about arrogance or superiority. It is about knowing who you are, accepting yourself fully, and understanding that you deserve respect, kindness, and love. Not just from others, but from yourself first. It is about realizing that your happiness does not depend on someone else's validation, and that your value is not measured by how much you can give to another person. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you enter relationships as an equal, not as someone who needs to be completed or saved. Many people struggle with low self-worth without even realizing it. They stay in toxic relationships because they believe they are not good enough to find someone better. They tolerate disrespect because they think they are asking for too much. They give endlessly, hoping that one day they will be loved the way they deserve, without recognizing that love should not be earned through suffering. The fear of being alone often overpowers the need to be respected, and so they settle for relationships that diminish them instead of uplifting them. A person with high self-worth approaches relationships differently. They do not beg for attention or chase after those who do not appreciate them. They understand that love is a choice, not a transaction. They set boundaries, not as a way to push people away, but as a way to protect their peace and emotional well-being. They know that compromising does not mean losing themselves, and that love should never come at the cost of self-respect. One of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is looking for someone else to make them feel complete. The idea that another person will fill the gaps in your soul and heal all your wounds is a dangerous illusion. No relationship can compensate for a lack of self-worth. If you do not love yourself, no amount of external love will ever feel like enough. You will constantly seek reassurance, feel insecure at the slightest distance, and interpret every disagreement as a sign that you are not worthy of love. When your self-worth depends on another person, your happiness is no longer in your control, and that is a deeply unsettling way to live. This is why self-worth is not just important, it is essential. When you truly value yourself, you no longer fear solitude because you know that being alone is better than being in a relationship where you are not respected. You become more selective about who you allow into your life. and you understand that not everyone deserves access to your energy. You attract healthier relationships because you radiate confidence, security, and peace rather than desperation and self-doubt. People often think that prioritizing self-worth means being selfish, but the truth is the opposite. When you value yourself, you actually become a better partner. You love without fear because you are not constantly questioning whether you are good enough. You support without losing yourself in the process. You communicate openly because you are not afraid of losing someone who is meant to stay. Self-worth allows you to love from a place of wholeness rather than lack. Love is often seen as the most important foundation of a relationship, but love alone is not enough to sustain a healthy, lasting bond between two people. While love can be powerful and transformative, it cannot thrive in an environment where respect and growth are absent. A relationship that lacks respect quickly turns into a space filled with resentment, misunderstandings, and emotional distance. Similarly, when there is no room for growth, the connection becomes stagnant, preventing both individuals from becoming the best versions of themselves. Respect is the backbone of any strong relationship. It is what allows two people to feel safe, valued, and heard. Without respect, love loses its meaning, turning into control, possessiveness, or emotional dependence. Respect means acknowledging your partner's thoughts, opinions, and feelings as valid, even when they differ from your own. It means treating them with kindness in moments of disagreement, and never using love as an excuse to belittle or hurt them. When respect is present, there is space for honest conversations, without fear of judgment or rejection. Both individuals can express their needs, set boundaries, and trust that they will be understood. Many relationships fail, not because love disappears, but because respect is lost along the way. When partners stop valuing each other's efforts, take each other for granted, or dismiss each other's feelings, love begins to fade, no matter how strong it once was. True love is not just about affection and passion. It is about treating one another with dignity in every situation. A relationship where one partner constantly disrespects the other, whether through words, actions, or neglect, is not a loving relationship at all. Even the deepest love cannot make up for a lack of respect. Just as respect is essential, so is growth. People are not meant to remain the same throughout their lives. They evolve, learn, and change through their experiences. A healthy relationship should encourage that growth rather than hinder it. When two people support each other's dreams, personal development, and ambitions, their connection strengthens over time. Growth in a relationship does not mean changing each other, but rather inspiring one another to become better versions of themselves. It is about challenging each other to step out of comfort zones, learn from mistakes, and build a future together based on shared values and aspirations. Many relationships struggle because one or both partners resist change. They fear that as the other person grows, they might grow apart. But real love does not hold anyone back. It encourages progress. When a relationship lacks growth, it becomes repetitive and uninspiring. The same conversations, routines, and conflicts keep happening without resolution. Over time, this stagnation leads to frustration, and even love can start feeling like a burden. A strong relationship should be a space where both individuals feel motivated to pursue their goals, whether personal, professional, or emotional. Growth also means learning from challenges together. No relationship is perfect, and conflicts are inevitable. But when both partners are committed to learning from their struggles instead of blaming each other, they build resilience. They learn to communicate better, resolve conflicts in healthier ways, and understand each other's needs on a deeper level. A relationship that embraces growth is one where both individuals feel safe evolving without fear of losing the other person. Respect and growth are what make love meaningful and sustainable. Without respect, love can turn into a painful experience rather than a source of joy. Without growth, love can become stagnant and unfulfilling. Love alone is not enough to sustain a relationship in the long run. It is the foundation, but respect and growth are the pillars that hold it up. When a relationship is built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to growth, love flourishes naturally, creating a bond that is not only strong but also fulfilling. A strong relationship is not built on love alone. It requires continuous effort and open communication to thrive. Many people enter relationships with the belief that love will be enough to sustain them, but without the willingness to communicate and put in the necessary work, even the most passionate love can fade. Communication and effort are the foundation that holds a relationship together, allowing both individuals to feel valued, heard, and understood. Without them, misunderstandings grow, emotional distance forms, and the connection weakens over time. Communication is not just about talking. It is about listening, understanding, and responding in a way that fosters connection rather than conflict. Many relationships struggle, not because there is a lack of love, but because there is a failure to communicate effectively. When one person feels unheard, dismissed, or invalidated, resentment begins to build. Small misunderstandings, if not addressed, turn into larger issues that can create deep emotional wounds. Healthy communication means being able to express emotions, needs, and concerns without fear of judgment or rejection. It involves honesty, vulnerability, and the ability to listen with the intent to understand, rather than just to respond. One of the biggest challenges in communication is the assumption that the other person should already know what is wrong or what is needed. Many people expect their partners to read their minds, and when that does not happen, frustration follows. No one is a mind reader. If something is bothering you, it needs to be communicated clearly. If there is a need that is not being met, it should be expressed openly rather than hidden behind silent expectations. Bottling up emotions and hoping that the other person will eventually figure things out only leads to more hurt and distance. Effort in a relationship goes hand in hand with communication. Love alone does not sustain a relationship. The actions that demonstrate love are what truly matter. Many relationships fail not because people stop loving each other, but because they stop putting in the effort to show that love. Effort is seen in the little things. The way one person remembers the details that matter to the other, the way they make time despite busy schedules, the way they choose to work through challenges instead of giving up. Relationships require constant nurturing, just like a plant that needs water and sunlight to grow. Neglect leads to emotional distance, and over time, even the strongest love can wither. Effort is also about showing up for each other in the difficult moments. It is easy to love someone when everything is going well, but true effort is seen in times of hardship. When challenges arise, effort means choosing to work through them together instead of walking away. It means being patient when the other person is struggling, offering reassurance when they feel insecure, and staying committed even when things are not perfect. Love is not just a feeling. It is a choice that is made every day through intentional actions. Another important aspect of communication and effort is the ability to resolve conflicts in a healthy way. Disagreements are inevitable in any relationship, but what matters is how they are handled. Avoiding conversations about problems does not make them disappear. It only allows them to grow in silence. Healthy communication during conflicts means addressing the issue with respect rather than blame. Instead of using words that attack or criticize, it involves expressing feelings and concerns in a way that invites understanding rather than defensiveness. A simple shift from "you never listen to me" to "I feel unheard when I try to express myself" can change the entire direction of a conversation. Effort also means being willing to learn and grow together. No one is perfect and no relationship is without its flaws. There will always be mistakes, misunderstandings, and moments of weakness. What matters is the willingness to learn from them. Growth in a relationship comes from recognizing where things can improve and making a conscious effort to be better. It is about adapting to changes, supporting each other's personal growth, and finding ways to strengthen the bond rather than letting struggles drive a wedge between two people. Relationships that lack communication and effort often fall apart because they become a space of assumption, resentment, and emotional distance. When there is no communication, problems are left unresolved. When there is no effort, love starts to feel like an obligation rather than a choice. But when both individuals commit to open communication and continuous effort, the relationship becomes a source of strength, comfort, and growth. It becomes a space where both people feel seen, heard, and deeply valued. Love may be the beginning of a relationship, but it is communication and effort that determine its strength and longevity. Walking away is one of the hardest decisions a person can make. especially when it involves someone they love. People hold on to relationships for many reasons: hope, history, fear of being alone, or the belief that things will get better. But sometimes, the most profound act of self-love is choosing to walk away from something that no longer nurtures the soul. Love is not meant to be a prison where one feels trapped, undervalued, or constantly in pain. It should be a space of growth, respect, and emotional safety. When a relationship no longer provides these essential elements, leaving is not a sign of failure, but an act of courage and self-respect. Many people stay in toxic or unfulfilling relationships because they fear the unknown. They worry about what life will look like without the other person. They hold on to memories of better times, convincing themselves that if they just try a little harder, things will return to how they used to be. But love is not meant to be sustained by memories alone. If the present moment is filled with pain, disrespect, or neglect, then clinging to the past only delays the inevitable. Love should make a person feel cherished and appreciated, not constantly questioning their worth or begging for attention. Walking away is sometimes the only way to reclaim the self-respect that has been lost in the process of holding on to something broken. Choosing to leave a relationship that no longer serves the heart does not mean giving up too easily. It means recognizing when enough is enough. It means understanding that no amount of love can fix a relationship where one or both people are unwilling to grow, communicate, or meet each other's needs. Staying in a relationship out of guilt, obligation, or fear of loneliness is not love. It is self-sacrifice at the expense of one's happiness and well-being. Love should not require a person to shrink themselves, to constantly prove their worth, or to endure emotional exhaustion in the hope of receiving the bare minimum. Self-love is knowing when to walk away from something that drains more than it gives. It is understanding that no one else is responsible for one's happiness except themselves. Many people stay in painful relationships because they believe they can change the other person. They think if they love harder, forgive more, or lower their expectations, things will improve. But real change comes from within, and no one can force another person to be different. If respect, effort, and care are not present naturally, they cannot be begged for. Walking away is sometimes the only way to stop the cycle of hoping for something that may never come. Letting go of a relationship does not mean forgetting the love that was once there. It does not mean dismissing the good times or pretending the connection never existed. It means acknowledging that while love may still be present, it is not enough to sustain a relationship that lacks the foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and fulfillment. True self-love means valuing inner peace over temporary comfort. It means choosing growth over stagnation and emotional freedom over unhealthy attachment. People often feel guilty for walking away, especially when the other person does not want to let go. They fear being seen as selfish, heartless, or ungrateful. But there is nothing selfish about prioritizing one's own emotional well-being. Staying in a relationship out of guilt is not noble. It is self-betrayal. Loving someone does not mean sacrificing personal happiness or enduring mistreatment for the sake of keeping them in one's life. Love should not come at the cost of self-worth. Walking away is not about abandoning love, but about refusing to settle for a love that constantly wounds instead of heals. Sometimes, leaving is the only way to rediscover who one truly is. In unhealthy or one-sided relationships, people lose themselves. They forget their own needs, passions, and dreams in the process of trying to make things work. They become so focused on keeping someone else happy that they neglect their own emotional and mental well-being. Walking away allows for self-reflection, healing, and rediscovery. It creates space for personal growth and the opportunity to find a relationship that aligns with one's true values and desires. There is strength in choosing oneself. There is bravery in saying, "I deserve more." Walking away does not mean giving up on love. It means refusing to accept anything less than the love that nurtures, respects, and values. It is a declaration that one's happiness is not dependent on another person, but on the ability to honor their own worth. Letting go is not always easy, but sometimes it is the most loving thing a person can do for themselves. Love is often portrayed as the act of finding the right person, someone who completes and understands us in ways no one else can. People search for the perfect partner, believing that happiness will come once they meet the one who fits their expectations. However, true love is not just about discovering the right person. It is about becoming the right person. A healthy, fulfilling relationship is not built solely on attraction or compatibility, but on personal growth, self-awareness, and the ability to love in a way that is mature, kind, and selfless. Love is not just about what we receive, it is about what we give, and that giving comes from a place of wholeness rather than need. Many relationships fail because people enter them expecting their partner to fill a void within them. They rely on another person to provide them with happiness, security, and a sense of purpose. But love cannot truly thrive when it is built on dependence. When individuals do not feel complete within themselves, they project their insecurities onto their relationships, seeking validation from their partner, rather than finding it within. This leads to expectations that no one can fully meet and disappointment when reality does not align with the idealized version of love they imagined. Becoming the right person means recognizing that love should be a partnership of two whole individuals, not a desperate attempt to complete something missing. To become the right person, one must first develop self-awareness. Understanding personal strengths, weaknesses, and emotional patterns is essential in creating a healthy relationship. People often repeat toxic cycles because they are unaware of their own unresolved issues. They bring past wounds into new relationships, expecting their partner to heal them. But healing is an internal process that no one else can do for us. Taking responsibility for personal growth, learning from past mistakes, and working on emotional well-being allows a person to show up in a relationship as someone capable of giving and receiving love in a healthy way. Another key aspect of becoming the right person is learning to communicate effectively. Love is not just about feelings. It is about the ability to express those feelings in a way that fosters understanding and connection. Many relationships suffer because of misunderstandings, unspoken expectations, and unresolved conflicts. Becoming the right person means developing the ability to listen, empathize, and express thoughts and emotions without fear or defensiveness. It means being honest, not only with a partner, but also with oneself. It requires the ability to have difficult conversations, set boundaries, and respect differences rather than trying to change someone to fit a personal ideal. Personal growth also involves emotional maturity. Love is not just about romance and excitement. It is about the ability to navigate challenges, disappointments, and difficult moments with patience and grace. Many people enter relationships with unrealistic expectations, believing that love should always be effortless. But real love requires effort, compromise, and resilience. Emotional maturity means handling conflicts with understanding rather than anger, choosing to resolve issues instead of running away, and recognizing that a partner is not responsible for personal happiness. When both individuals in a relationship are committed to growth, the bond between them becomes stronger and more fulfilling. Becoming the right person also means cultivating self-love and self-respect. People who do not love themselves often struggle in relationships because they seek external validation instead of internal fulfillment. They tolerate mistreatment, settle for less than they deserve, or constantly fear abandonment. True love starts with self-love. It is about knowing one's worth and refusing to accept anything that diminishes it. A person who values themselves naturally attracts healthier relationships because they do not rely on someone else to define their value. They bring confidence, joy, and security into a relationship rather than insecurity and neediness. Love is also about growth, not just individually but as a couple. Becoming the right person means continuously striving to be better, not just for oneself, but for the relationship. It means supporting a partner's dreams, encouraging their success, and celebrating their achievements without envy or insecurity. It means growing together rather than holding each other back. A strong relationship is one where both people inspire each other to be their best selves, not out of obligation, but out of genuine love and admiration. Ultimately, love is not about finding someone to fix, save, or complete us. It is about becoming whole within ourselves so that we can offer love that is pure, strong, and fulfilling. When a person focuses on becoming the right person rather than simply searching for the right one, they attract relationships that are based on mutual respect, understanding, and true emotional connection. Love is not just something that happens. It is something that is built, nurtured, and strengthened through the continuous journey of becoming the best version of oneself. Love is not just about finding the right person. It is about becoming the right person. A fulfilling relationship is not built on dependence, unrealistic expectations, or the idea that someone else will complete us. Instead, it thrives when both individuals commit to self-awareness, emotional maturity, and continuous growth. True love is not about receiving validation, but about giving from a place of wholeness. It requires effective communication, self-respect, and the ability to navigate challenges with patience and understanding. When we focus on becoming our best selves, we naturally attract the kind of love that is meaningful, strong, and lasting. In the end, love is not just something we seek. It is something we cultivate within ourselves, allowing it to flourish in the relationships we build.